Welcome to RHI's Sociable City Interviews, where we meet with global thought leaders on nightlife and the social economy. Today, we are joined by Herschel French, the Assistant Director for the Mayor's Office of Nightlife in Nashville, Tennessee. Formerly trained as a counselor, he brings his passion for helping people to his role, bridging the gap between government and nonprofit services and the nightlife industry.
Hey, Herschel, so great to spend some time with you here today. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm just honored.
Yeah, yeah.
This is my first interview that I've ever done in this role, so thank you.
Well, there you go. There you go. So why don't you just give me a little bit of background of how you got to be where you are, and then mostly what is your current role?
Yeah, so my background actually is in the mental health field. I'm a trained counselor. I worked uh for a couple of years after I graduated from grad school as a substance abuse counselor. I worked in a small town in Illinois, doing substance abuse counseling at a mental health community center, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with those types of places, but they're severely underfunded and understaffed. And so your workload and your pay are both, your workload is very high, your pay is very low. And so the burnout rate in those community mental health centers is pretty high. And I found myself to be part of that burnout load. I was working 70 plus hours a week for pennies, and uh, just it was not sustainable. And so I kind of reshifted my career, started doing um, work in churches, actually, working with basically doing congregational care type stuff. So basically counseling type work within the church. And I did that for a long time back in Illinois. And then I met my wife here in Nashville, and uh, everything kind of changed again, as that can happen when one meets their partner. And I moved to Nashville and started working in the healthcare industry. And we both during COVID decided we needed a change from what we were doing. We were both kind of using COVID as a reset, like a lot of people did, I think. And one of the people that I had gotten to know in my time here in Nashville was Ben McDonough, who is the director of Nightlife. And he had just been appointed the director of Nightlife. And I had reached out to him just to say, congratulations. This is such a cool thing that our city is doing. It was new to our city. We'd never had a art office of nightlife in Nashville. And he reached back out to me and was like, "Hey, you want to get coffee? Let's talk about this." And kind of from there, it just we met a couple times, talked about ideas, and then he said, "Do you want to join this team and be a part of it?" And so I was just honored and taken aback because it is another quote unquote career shift for me, but it was something that I've really just been blown away by the opportunities and the people that I get to work with, and the stuff that we get to do here in the city of Nashville has just been really awesome, and I'm really thankful for it. Yes, I am the assistant director here. We have there's four of us on our team. We have a community outreach director who is Kelly Kaplan, and our public information officer who is Kenitha Price.
Coincidentally, my background was in the hospitality industry, but I went on to do counseling work similar
Mhm.
to you, and I did alcoholism counseling for a number of
Yeah,
years, and I had a caseload of 90 people every 3 months. These were people
yeah,
arrested for drunk driving.
yep,
And so I ended up breaking them up into groups. So it was a great training program on group facilitation because you're dealing with
yes,
mostly, well, primarily men in high denial about their alcoholism. And then how do you work through that with them as a group? So it was a good training for me, and obviously
yes.
it's for you too. Now you mentioned when we met that you were interested in supporting the mental health of hospitality workers. So it doesn't seem like you're giving up on that whole
Right,
idea.
yeah. Um, so being a trained counselor, my wife is actually a trained therapist as well. She's a practicing therapist here in Nashville. And mental health is a big part of our family culture. We both are in therapy. Our kids are in therapy. We try to we try to push our friends and neighbors and stuff into it as much as we can. And why would I not let that spill back into my work? There were when I first started in this job, I started hearing stories about whether it be bartenders or waiters or bar managers or whoever it may be downtown in our entertainment district who had either taken their own lives or were succumbing to addiction problems, maybe it be overdose related deaths, those types of things. And my heart just started breaking for these people, their families, their coworkers. And I just wondered, what are the resources that we have available in Nashville for these people? Our office isn't staffed enough to run these programs by ourselves, but what we can at least do is be a liaison between these businesses and the programs that are already out there and already working. And so what I've started to do is reach out to organizations around Nashville that do mental health care for hospitality workers in particular. There we have several organizations that specialize in that. We also have several restaurant groups who do an excellent job of taking care of their staff, do an excellent job of providing them with access to resources, whether it be employee assistant programs or um, any kind of financial help that might help them in times of need where they might feel like they need to quit their job or whatever. They have access to those types of resources that allow them to continue working in a job that they love and feel called to while still getting the help that they need. And so what I've been trying to do is connect those dots between the workers downtown and our entertainment districts in our hospitality fields and those resources that are available to them. And so we're still on the cusp of that, but we're working towards it.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So you're taking your previous experience and applying it to a specific segment of the community, one at which that has, I mean, you do any kind of research, you know that substance abuse, alcoholism, mental
Yeah,
health issues are very common among people in the hospitality industry. You know,
right.
they work non-traditional lifestyles. They're separated from their family and friends. You know, they basically have to build their friendships among the people that they work with. And then there's
Uh,
alcohol and drugs readily available, and the stress of the work. And like you said, sometimes the low income really puts a lot of pressure on them.
yes,
But what you're saying is you're really functioning more as a liaison to existing services and
yes,
really trying to formalize the growing network that you've been creating through this Office of Nightlife, where the
correct.
businesses are working more collaboratively with different departments in the city and with your office so that you really have a mechanism now to have a much more direct impact. Is that the way you see it evolving?
Yeah, one thing I think that what I'm trying to do with this first round of meetings that I'm going to start this fall, I'm going to start hosting these lunch and learns where we can bring in the bar owners, the managers, the shift managers, all these people who are kind of at the top of the ladder, and say, look, we've got these resources available for your employees. And what I want to do is introduce them to those resources. And then I also am going to bring in some trained counselors to explain to them what are some warning signs you can be looking out for in your employees. What are some things you see them doing that might give you an idea that they're struggling, that even if they're not able to bring it up to you, you might notice it and you might say, hey, I see that this has been happening. You've been having issues with this and this resource might be a help to you. And we, as your employee, as your employer, we want to help you get access to that. And so that's kind of what my first kind of foray into this is going to look like this fall. We've got um, several organizations who have agreed to come and speak. We've got several restaurant owners who I feel do an excellent job at taking care of their employees, come and speak about how they've set up uh, their place of business to take care of their employees. And then I've got two counselors who have agreed to come and talk about the warning signs that they can do. So I'm really excited about this program. Hopefully we'll see some good come from it.
Yeah, well, when I was with you, I saw, when you had your venue meeting, you had a large number of people showing up. So it seems like you've got a good network already established
Yeah.
where the business owners trust you guys. They're willing to participate. You also have obviously the support from your various licensing and enforcement agencies, to
Yes.
to have that, because obviously they're confronted with some of those same issues themselves within their own field, because policing is obviously a stressful job, so they could probably relate to that as much. And maybe in their course of work, they might also be able to identify security or bartenders or service staff that they
Yeah.
feel might be getting to the edge, which would be unsafe for them and also unsafe for the customers. So if you have people in security who are kind of on the fringe of a mental breakdown, their reaction to crisis situations might be damaging to others. So there's a lot of good that can evolve from this, and the relationships that you've established obviously are a great foundation for that. Um, so in terms of the evolution of this, this is obviously one area, but I also want to talk to you about some other things about what's going on in Nashville. To
Yeah.
moving from your mental health perspective, to just more generally your Office of Nightlife and the work that you've been doing. And I know there's been some important changes in terms of parking for musicians and other types of
Yes.
initiatives that you've taken up. But also you have some challenges, I noticed, with food trucks and you obviously, when I spoke with your lieutenant, he estimates there's about 30,000 occupancy of the venues that are just on Broadway, and the
Mhm.
street was packed, the sidewalks were packed. So, when you add the 30,000 that were in the venues, plus probably another 10,000 that are walking up and down the street, you got mass crowd
Yeah.
control, management issues. But it seems like you have a good organized um, uh, entertainment district unit, which it seems is interagency, because I know I was with
Yes.
the fire marshal, the police, alcohol. You got your city council member. You've got a lot of key people working together, and I really applaud that, and it's certainly something that we want to showcase when we do our summit in Nashville. But what else would people expect to hear? What stories of your accomplishments so far, even though you've only been around a short period of time?
Yeah. A couple things I think that we're really proud of uh, in our office is our commitment to public safety. We have been working hand in hand with the Sexual Assault Center here in Nashville. They're a private organization that is dedicated to helping victims of sexual assault here in the city, and we've worked with them to partner with them and our bars and restaurants in the entertainment district to implement what's called the Safe Bar program. And so that is training servers, bartenders, how to spot signs of drink spiking, sexual abuse, domestic abuse, those types of things. And it provides coasters and drink covers to help protect against drink spiking, those types of issues. We, we've seen quite a few of the bars downtown take part in that. I can't give you the exact number off the top of my head, but I know that we have seen bar after bar say no at first because they don't want to, whatever the stigma may be, they don't want to be known as a place where that stuff might happen. But the reality is that that can happen anywhere. It can happen at Chili's for all we know. And the more bars that say yes, the more bars come on and say, okay, us too. Like let's do this. And I think now the stigma is to not be a safe bar, trained bar
Mhm.
downtown because um there have been incidences here in Nashville, just like there are all over the country. No, no, it's not any more proportionate here in Nashville, but there have been instances where drink spiking has occurred, where sexual assault has happened, and we, as a team, we have an interagency team that works against this type of stuff. That includes the Sexual Assault Center, us, MMPD, um, Vanderbilt Community Health, all these places that work together to try to curb this issue. And so that's one thing we're really proud of. I think another thing that we're really proud of is our dedication to overdose protection, getting naloxone or Narcan, as it's commonly called, into all of our venues downtown. I believe we are the first city that every major sporting um, team has gotten Narcan into their stadiums. When we started, there were 0 bars downtown that would take Narcan into their facilities, and now we're in over 110 of these bars and restaurants downtown in just a year. We've seen it expand really quickly, and we're getting ready to. We're actually working with the health department and the mayor's office, and I guess because we've been the ones working with it so much in the city, they've brought us along to help get it into every single Metro-Nashville public school, and we're getting ready to do that before school starts this fall. And so that's 137 schools that we're helping get Narcan into, which doesn't sound like a nightlife type thing, but it's something that our office has been heavily involved in, and we're really proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, that's exciting. Well, everybody needs to understand the dangers of overdose and ways
Yeah,
to react to situations. And most people would think it would never happen, but obviously, when it does happen, you really panicked and you don't know what to do about it. So, even though it's an isolated incident, it certainly is a traumatic when it does happen. This has been great. So it sounds to me like in your role, you kind of taken on a special uh, focus around mental health, safety, and other areas. And it's tying in your previous passion and work for helping people. And obviously, hospitality is all about helping people anyhow.
right.
On one level, it's helping people have a good time, and on the other level, it's helping them to be safe. And it sounds to me like you're a great liaison among all of the safety elements of what's going on within the hospitality and nightlife industry. So, this has been a great conversation. Give me one more like highlight of what you think people will get out of coming to the city of Nashville.
One of the best things about Nashville is there's no non party night, if that makes any sense. Every night is busy downtown. You come on a Monday, you're going to find something to do. You come on a Tuesday, you're going to find something to do. On the weekends, it's going to be absolutely insane. But even on a Tuesday night, if they're, given the perfect storm of whether there's a Preds game or a Titans game on the same night, a concert at the Ryman or whatever it may be, you could find yourself among 100,000 people downtown easily. And we're really proud of the fact that we're able to um, walk in this. I think you called it controlled chaos that we have downtown, and keep people safe, and that there is always something to do. There's always something to do. And I would say also, for the people coming to the summit, on one of those nights where things might be free, where you have a free moment after our social events, check out some of the other neighborhoods within the city besides Broadway, because there's so much more to offer in Nashville besides Broadway. Broadway is amazing, but there's so much more outside of Broadway too. Nashville is a multicultural city that is just beautiful and fun, and we love it.
All right. Well, Herschel, this has been great, and I appreciate your passion for this. And again, I could relate personally to it because it's basically how I got into this work that I'm doing today. I mean, obviously has evolved, but it was always something that I wanted to do. And the more I can help promote it, and like we talked about, maybe bringing Ben's Friends leader, the guy who set up a support network for people in the hospitality industry with alcohol
Yeah.
problems. And New York City, after COVID, they put in a mental health program for hospitality workers. So I think you're really part of an emerging field of people who really recognize the need for this very much focused effort with the hospitality industry, and that traditional mental health and substance abuse services may not always understand the dynamics of working in the hospitality industry. So I
Yeah.
think you bring that lens that helps people to see, yeah, well, it's not just the same as it is for some other people, that there are special circumstances and work-related things that happen in the hospitality industry,
Yeah.
exposure to alcohol, exposure to drugs, off-schedule work, from their friends and their family. There's a lot of stressors. So I really applaud you for what you're doing. And I look forward to a great summit in Nashville.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And we look forward to hosting. It's going to be great.
Okay, well, thanks a lot.